Hello, everyone, and welcome back to What's Your Game, episode 54. This week, we've got three projects we'll be talking to: Grimm Syndicate, the MC-verse, and Lazy Soccer. The aim of What's Your Game is to introduce new games to gamers. I do this via Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music. So anywhere you can find some content, search Gaspode WD and you'll be able to find What's Your Game and some introduction content around Web3 games that I've been playing, as well as some Steam early access games that I've been dabbling in at the moment as well. It is a free stage as we go through asking questions to find out more about these games. So if anyone in the audience does have any questions, you can request to come up and ask me questions. If you aren't much of a talker, in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll find a speech bubble. Down there, you can post your comments, thoughts, just GIFs. It would be appreciated. And any questions, and I'll read them as we kind of go through. There's also a Twitter list associated with What's Your Game, which has all of the previous projects that we've talked to on it, and I'll be pinning that to the top. I'll also be pinning other things to the top from the projects, so make sure to keep an eye out there and you'll see some pretty pictures to try and help make it clearer what we're talking about with these games. Final bit of kind of update from my side before we have a look at some of the projects is next week we are starting our first POAPs. We're rolling out a whole selection of POAPs supported by Rev GG, and those POAPs will be used for future giveaways that I get when I've partnered with any games. I'll be giving away gift cards as well as some currency as well. The whole purpose of switching to POAPs is I recently did a giveaway just for whitelists for a popular mobile game, Fableborn, who we've had on the show previously, and it got botted into the ground, and it was an absolute pain to try and find real humans within the winners, and I dislike doing it, and I prefer to give the places to actual real humans that I know. So I am switching to POAPs, and they'll be verifiable actually humans. So keep an eye out for that, and you'll be able to win giveaways and all sorts of extra enjoyment. But that is enough on my admin. We'll quickly look at some of the projects that we've had up previously and see what they're up to. Sadly, when we did our 52nd episode and I recapped all of the projects we previously talked to, it's about 60 to 70% of them have just stopped and just disappeared into the ether, which is unfortunate, but it's kind of telling about the times that we're in. So it's really good to see that there's still quite a lot of projects actually building out there because they've got to be really resourceful to be doing that at the moment. So having a look, we have seen some complete changes for the game Double Jump. Double Jump we've had up twice previously, played them via Elixir Launcher. They used to be a bit more cartoony within their game style and their kind of maps. They seem to have switched out to a dystopian party royale and recently held quite a big competition with different creators. So if you're into kind of the Fall Guys party game style, they are bringing a new twist to it and have Web3 elements in that as well. Another one that we've seen some more stuff going on with is Fableborn. As I just mentioned, they recently had a playtest over the weekend, and they are about to go into their mint. They did a kind of play to mint, so if you did place well, you were able to get a whitelist spot. I also previously gave out some whitelists as well. I am going to become. I'm going to be competing in their Content Creators Cup soon. More details to come, but I will I'll be picking someone from the What's Your Game community to come and play with me as well, and our scores will get added up, and that's how we'll place on the leaderboard. I wouldn't get your hopes up on prizes. As much as I love the game, some people play 24 hours over the weekend, and I've got far too much admin to be going on for 24 hours to grind it through. But it's still a fun game, and it'd be nice to get involved and give it a play. And then the last thing that we've seen, well, not that we've seen, but I'm going to pick up is there is some big news soon to be coming out from Pirate Nation. They've been teasing lots of big changes, including free to play. So keep an eye out on Pirate Nation as they announce more changes coming up. But that is a very quick update on those projects that we've talked to previously. If you're interested in keeping up to date with all the projects we've talked to, I've pinned to the top a Twitter list which will show you all the updates as they go through those projects. But for now, we will go to the first project of the night, and we are going to start with Grimm Syndicate. So, who are you, and what's your game?
Yeah, well, hey, thank you so much for having me on. I really do appreciate it. It's always enjoyable to kind of get an update of all the kind of the indie builders out there crushing it, working hard, and always a good time. So you guys inspire me. My name is Ryan Mazzell. If you are in Discord, you'll see me as Detrick, and I'm one of the founders of the Grimm Syndicate. And I work on the operational side, and I'm one of three. We've got Lothar and Justin Mazzell, and those are the other two founders of the Grimm Syndicate. And we've been working on a game called Abyss Walkers. So super excited. We've been in a closed alpha for some time as we have been, really building and getting the mechanics and the fundamentals right. And now we're pushing and on our way towards a beta, which we believe is really going to knock people's socks off. We're super excited about it and just really passionate about Abyss Walkers.
Thanks for that update. I am trying to share. I found a video of a very handsome chap playing the game, so I'm going to pin that to the top. People get a joke that it's me. That's the handsome chap I'm talking about. But for those that kind of haven't seen much about the game, can you explain some of the core mechanics within the game, as well as kind of what I would be doing as a player as I play through the game?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So Abyss Walkers is really, it was kind of a mashup, my brother and I and our developer, we've played a lot of games in our time and I've always enjoyed it. So we're big fans of Hearthstone. If you're an old Final Fantasy guy and you like Tetramaster, if you remember that game, that's another great game that we kind of had some inspiration with. So it's a mashup of like Hearthstone, Tetramaster, and chess. That's kind of that unique flavor that we add to that. So it's a little bit of a mashup there. It is a trading card game, and you are a summoner, and you are summoning these demons, which goes along with our lore, onto a battlefield. And if you can imagine the battlefield, it is a 3x5 grid, and you place your demons, that you get in your hand, your cards. You place your demons on the board, and depending on how you position them and how you actually play your cards will have a lot to do with how well you perform in the game. So it's one of the games that is really easy to jump into the cockpit and start flying. But if you really want to get tactical and really go deep, if you're someone who loves to really learn the strategy and find all kinds of synergies amongst cards, this is definitely a game that you can really dive deep and have a great time. So, build your deck and battle other players across the web. So a great time.
And when I kind of played through, I had a variety of different cards. I think I went with a standard deck, but how do you see people building out the different cards, and kind of how does Web3 play into the cards?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now in our alpha, we have I think 4 standard decks that people are allowed to choose from and play. The future of the game, and when we release our beta, is going to be you'll actually have the ability to you can use a standard deck, but you'll have the ability to build out your own deck with your own cards and your own strategy. So um, for me, I know that's probably one of my favorite elements. Is I love I don't mind a standard deck, but I love building out, what I think is going to play well. And if you're an aggro player, or if you're, just whatever your player style is, I think building your own deck will definitely connect well. The Web3 elements and what I am really excited about is oftentimes, if you have, if you play Hearthstone, for instance, if you do anything like that, you get these cards, and you can't really do anything with them. I mean, they're in a closed loop system. They're there. You can play them within the game, and they're valuable there. But within our game, you're going to have the ability, leveraging the Web3 components, to not only be able to collect the cards, which each card will actually be an NFT. You'll be able to collect the cards, but you'll also be able to trade the cards with other players. You'll be able to, there'll be a marketplace, available for cards. So you'll always be able to sell them if that's what you'd like to do. And while, I don't think you'll be a millionaire out of, selling cards, there is something to be said about, really enjoying the game, having a great time, and then being able to maybe, you've played a long time and maybe it's time for a new game, being able to get back some of your time monetarily by selling the cards. So by having each of the cards be individual NFTs, it just gives you that ability to kind of freely move outside of that closed loop system.
No, I like that. And then in terms of, so we've seen quite a lot of card games popping up. I did like the way the board worked. It took me a little bit to kind of understand the mechanics of it, but I did like how it added something to it. What do you think kind of sets yourselves apart from other games, and what do you think is going to attract most of your players?
Yeah, great question. I do think the board element has a really unique place, and something that, when we were originally creating this, and we wanted to build something that was not only um, tactical, but that once you did kind of get the core mechanics, there was a little bit of a simplicity. I mean, I love, trading card games, but sometimes they can get a lot more complex, and there's lots of rules and lots of different elements. But I feel like for us, Abyss Walkers is a game that you can, once you understand that, core mechanic and how to operate on the board, there's all kinds of different plays that you can do that can make it just really engaging. And it's not only strategy on what cards you're going to play, but it's strategy on how do you position yourself on the board. So it gives you kind of 2 points of strategy and two different items to juggle. So I think that's what really makes it unique, that element of the board and the deck in your hand. I think just really adds a nice unique flavor.
And you mentioned kind of the fact that we're summoners, and from the cards themselves as they come out, they've got a little bit describing the skills, but it also gives a bit of a flavor to kind of the style of game. How do you see the lore for the game tying in, and how are you going to be sharing that?
Yeah, I mean, everything we've built in the Grimm universe, we've really wanted to embed story into it. And I'll be the first one to tell you, as we've really been focusing on getting the Biswalkers built, our priority has been in really making the game fun. So, no matter how great the lore is, how great a story is, if a game's not fun to play or engaging, very few people are going to want to play it. At least for me. So we're a small team, and so we've really been focusing on those game mechanics. But the Grimm Syndicate story and lore itself is very deep. It's very rich. There's a lot going on, and so while right now it's the lore for the game is fairly cursory, and the main I'll give you kind of the elevator pitch version, but essentially in the Grimm Syndicate universe, you've got Grimms, and then you've got these creatures that are kind of appearing all over the world called demons. And so you as a Grimm are summoning these demons onto the board, and so there's reasons why you're summoning and having these battles. And so we've got a lot of lore to connect and put together. But the greater Grimm lore all kind of points towards Abyss Walkers as this epic battle between kind of warring factions of Grimms.
And is it? I'm just trying to think of how the. So you'll start with some cards, and obviously I've played a while ago. Do you see the kind of cards expanding? So as you move into the beer, more people start playing, and then as you kind of go through, do you see you expanding the cards that come through, come into the game?
Yeah, I think like a lot of TCG models out there. I think we're gonna end up looking towards like a seasonal model where we are, doing seasons. I don't exactly know what that time frame will look like, but whether that's twice a year, quarterly, or once a year, I'm not sure what that would look like. But we definitely see seasons. We have out of our original Grimm Syndicate collection of demons. We've got our original Lurkers of the Abyss, is what that collection was called. Demons. We've got a number of different species, a number of different types and views. But it is our goal and our desire to add more cards, add more elements that will keep the game interesting and keep people on their toes. So I definitely think a seasonal release of new cards is definitely on the table.
And it was a little bit of a cheeky leading question because it leads into one of my favorite questions for card games is how you handle the fact that if people are kind of owning these cards, but as the seasons progress and new cards come out, their previous cards may become less worthwhile. And that's something we already see in kind of real life trading card games. But just how do you plan to play that through within the game and kind of manage expectations from your community?
Oh yeah, that's a really great question. So, um, I think it's so funny, but when you're in the crypto world in general, it's like I didn't realize I was going to need my PhD in economics, but oftentimes that's what it feels like, because there is so much of a supply and demand, and as it associates with value. So, one of the things that we've talked about doing is is giving the ability to combine cards and to value them up that way. As you open multiple card packs, you make it the same of a certain type of card. So being able to combine cards to make a better statted version is always there. So I think with the release of seasonal elements and adding more cards, while some cards may retain their value as still powerful, you're absolutely right. New cards may kind of trump that. So I could see potentially diving in with and leveraging some kind of combination. Maybe there's a combining system. I don't have the perfect answer to that yet, but I know that is something that we have been looking at and trying to figure out. What do we do so that we don't destroy the value of the original cards? So it's definitely top of mind, but the exact mechanic yet, I'm not so sure we've kind of laid on an exact decision yet.
And then looking at your profile and some of the stuff I've heard previously, um, it's you're kind of with Grimm Syndicate, communicating community engagement, gaming, and traditional media. Is that the view that outside of the game you're going to be spreading into other forms of media to kind of trying to build out the ecosystem, or how does all that tie together?
Yeah, absolutely. Our goal has always been we really want to build a brand. That's really at the heart of what we're trying to do. The Grimm Syndicate is at its core. It's a really fun story that we wanted to explore, and Abyss Walkers and the actual collection itself and all of the other different experiences are just facets of the same story. So just different mediums and how we can tell that story. So, for us, storytelling was paramount. We are currently under contract with a media company to try to get a show in the works. That is our goal. That is definitely a part of it. And while if you know anything about kind of the media world, it's there's a lot of Hail Marys and a lot of time and energy to see what happens. We're working down that path, so we'll see what comes of it. But from the small little snippet videos that we release, that we just do those ourselves. From those to the lore, storytelling really is paramount, and our future for the Grimm Syndicate will likely be in some traditional media. So we'll see where that goes. I can't speak too much to that yet, but we're very, very excited for the future.
I like that, and I like the idea of kind of the TV show tying in. It'll be interesting to see how you kind of marry up the TV show and the cards, and whether there's always the. I'm terrible at card games and creature selection games and stuff like that, so I totally go on just what's cute. And I think that you'll probably end up with a mixture of kind of min-maxers who are just playing the best cards, and then you'll also have a team that, if they've come in from, enjoying more of the media you're putting on outside the card game, maybe their cards aren't as strong, but they've definitely they kind of picked them because they've got a good storyline or they're cute. That's kind of how I do it. So I definitely think branching out into other media is a good way of pulling in people who maybe aren't as quite competitive, about the deck building and stuff like that. I've just seen my Grimm actually, because I was trying to check where you were because Solana. So I've just seen my Grimm. He's got little sunglasses and a little hat on. Couldn't remember what he looked like. There was a follow-up question I was going to say. At the moment, I forgot to ask, what platform would people be playing your game on?
Yeah, so we are building on quite a few platforms. So it will be available in the Steam store, so you'll be able to play on your PC. It will be available on your mobile phone, so we're building out mobile variant. And actually, we just got the PlayStation testing kits, so we're going to be hoping to release out on console as well. So we've got a pretty broad spectrum, but it'll start being able to play on your browser and through Steam. That'll be where we start, followed by mobile, and then followed by consoles. So that's kind of the order of priority at this time.
Consoles is very exciting. I know I've had a few up that were kind of looking to go from mobile to Nintendo dev kits. A couple of people were talking about, but sounds like it's very tricky to kind of get allowed on it. So it'll be interesting to see how you do that. But I think Steam's a good one. Some of the discoverability in Steam's not quite as good as it used to be because it's absolutely flooded with some absolute rubbish that you've got to kind of wade through. I've got several muted tags when I'm looking through Steam just to avoid some of the worst stuff, but will definitely help with this kind of discoverability. In terms of now, though, what would people need to do to come and play the game?
Yeah, I would say right now, like I said, it is we've got it as a closed alpha. So for our Grimm holders, they're all able to play. But jump into our Discord. Come on into our Discord, say hello, and then if you're interested in testing out the game, checking it out, just let us know in the Discord. I'm at Detrick. So that's easy. And at Lothar, he's another guy to reach out to. He's our dev that's been building this out. So until we really, put everything out there, that's the best way to do it. Hop in our Discord, check it out, and we can get you set up to play.
And then looking to the future, what are you excited for in the next 3 to 6 months?
Oh, man. I'm excited to see the game, the newest version. The guys that have been working on the beta version, and it looks, 100 times better than it did. Even when we were kind of showcasing the last videos, we've got a new build can I say it? It's sexy. It looks good. It's got all the great animations and all the fun elements that really bring up the polish level. So that's what I'm really excited about. I think the game fundamentals are great. Everything's looking good. So now we're really putting on some of that sex appeal. So it'll be a really polished game when we actually get it out to market. So we're just stoked about that. This has been a labor of love and passion. And we're just excited to see if everyone has the same love and passion as we do. So we're just super excited about that and so grateful for the opportunity to be on your space here.
And we'll be adding you to the list, so we'll be able to keep up to date as well. And the floor will always be open for when you do some big updates. But it's been great hearing about the project. I'll just double check to see if anyone's left any comments or questions. For those in the audience, we have unfortunately lost MC Verse. They have an ill child, so they will be back on another week. Small humans hate Twitter Spaces. It is a fact for anyone with them. It's well known. I did pin a couple of things to the top here, Grimm Syndicate, but kind of while we're talking to Lazy, feel free to pin any more bits up if there's anything that you wanted to share that I've missed. And then I'll add you to the Twitter list so people will be able to keep up to date. But thanks again for coming up.
I'm not sure. I feel like I shared quite a bit. So, I would just say for everyone out there, big crypto fans in general, hold the line and just ride the wave while we move through the bear. So just have fun. It's always good to have fun in the crypto spaces and in whether it's the gaming community or the crypto community. Just always nice to have fun and stay positive.
100% agree. I think that the current situation could be pretty bleak if you weren't trying to have fun while you were doing it. So I think keep it fun, and I think games definitely help with doing that. I don't know how you do if there wasn't games involved in it right now. It would be a bit empty, I feel. But for those who have just joined us, welcome to What's Your Game, episode 54. We've just heard from Grimm Syndicate. If you missed it, the space is recorded, so you can either go back and listen to it on Twitter, or it will be uploaded to YouTube as well. The idea of the space is to talk to new games, find out what they're building, and get to know them a bit better. And so with that, we'll be heading over to our second game of the night, Lazy Soccer. So Lazy Soccer, who are you, and what's your game?
Yeah, well, I'm DJ Dead, and I'm business developer at Lazy Soccer for already 10 months, I believe. But actually, I joined the community much earlier. So let's start from the very beginning. Our founder, he's a crypto influencer in the Eastern European region, and he's running his community on Telegram. And I joined it like a few years ago, and I followed the ideas of development of the game, and I really liked it. So I decided to join the team as a business developer. So what Lazy Soccer is, it's a multi-device, free-to-play soccer manager, and we've been building it for more than a year already. And in Lazy Soccer, obviously you act as a manager, and you have to manage a roster of slots, our game characters. You have to improve the team roster and NFT stuff, which is a strategic component of the manager. You have to choose the right tactics and play styles for tournaments to get the high rewards. Another thing as a manager that you have to do, of course, is to build the infrastructure necessary to maintain your team. It's like office, stadium, medical center, and etc. And the last thing, last but not least, control financial balance, as you don't want to go broke. So we pay lots of attention to interesting game mechanics, and we position Lazy Soccer as think and earn game. Currently, we're in the final development stage. We're running closed alpha, fixing bugs, and we hope to launch our beta release, public beta, like in a month or so. We're working hard. It's like a brief description of our project.
Thanks for that. I'm just trying to pin some bits from the profile, but it keeps rejecting it for some reason. So I will try again. So sorry, it seems to be struggling a little bit now. Hang on. 2 seconds, my phone is now froze. Hopefully you can still hear me, but it's not letting me do anything. Right, I'll just have to go quiet. I'm gonna look. I'll have to wait for it to sort itself out. So you're aiming for a free-to-play soccer management simulator. Just going off what I can actually see on the profile right now. Why have you picked to go free-to-play when you're starting?
Yeah, well, I think, we believe that every game actually should be like free to play to attract as much players as you can. And we pay lots of attention to onboarding Web2 players, these soccer fans, that there are millions across the world. So we make our sign up as easy as possible. So they don't need any crypto knowledge and no NFTs to start playing our game.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I see. I think it is a way for it to reach more people in terms of the kind of free to play. How will the free to play and any asset ownership kind of coming from the crypto side, how will those two marry up together to avoid some of the stuff we've seen with other free to plays where you just get raided by bots essentially?
Yeah, so as the game starts playing and he enjoyed the game and he wants to proceed in his development as a manager, this is the place where our NFTs come. So we have actually one collection that's already minted. It was minted a year ago. It's called Lazy Alpha and has very limited supply, only around 1,000 NFTs, and it has a high in-game utility. I'll explain a little bit later. And we have also our upcoming NFT collection, Lazy Sucker Stuff. We want to have the mint after we release the public beta, so our community can see that we work hard and we created a great product, and then they can mint these NFTs. But actually, 70% of this collection was sold out in our pre-sale because we have a great community who supports us. So about utilities, Lazy Sucker Stuff, this is stuff, NFT stuff, that will increase your in-game performance. So as I told you earlier, you have buildings. So you place this NFT stuff in these buildings and you have some sort of boost. For example, if your player is injured, then the recovery will go quicker. Or, for example, you'll be able to recover more players simultaneously when this stuff is placed in the building. And this is Lazy Sucker Stuff, is upcoming NFT collection. And as for Lazy Alphas, this is limited collection that was minted a year ago. It has two utilities. The first one that only with breeding of two Lazy Alphas, you'll be able to get Lazy Sucker Stuff. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. But this is the only way how new stuff will appear. So we're gonna have our mint, and the supply is 10K, and we have also deflationary mechanism. So if you all these NFTs, Lazy Sucker Stuff, they from the very beginning they'll have common rarity, and if you want to upgrade it, you'll have to burn two NFTs of the same rarity. So the number of these NFTs will go down, but as more players will come, there will be more necessity of this stuff. So the owners of Lazy Alphas will be able to create new sucker stuff. This is the only source of new sucker stuff, and so this is a really valuable NFTs. And the second utility of Lazy Alphas is the ability to create union. A union is like a place for gamers which have the same mind, which can unite and play together. It will let them earn more funds, and will also have tournaments for unions. So it's additional way to make some money in our game. Yeah, it was a little bit long.
No, it's really good to get the extra information. And I've pinned to the top, I think it's finally worked out, the kind of video of them. First off, I was going to ask it as my first question, but I thought we'd talk a bit more about the game first. Why are they all slots?
It's actually a good question. Let me think. Yeah, because there's like two answers for this question. Because like, why, first of all, lazy soccer? Because we had an idea of name our game like so lazy, because like our first collection, we were supposed to launch on Solana, the game, I mean, and our first collection is minted on Solana. So we're supposed to be like Solana project. So we wanted to some kind be funny and to have this like so lazy in our game, in the name of our game. But eventually we decided actually to switch to EVM chain, as we'll be able for us easier to scale and to add more chains to become multi-chain. Yeah, so currently we have our alpha on the Mumbai testnet, but we are not pretty sure where we're going to launch, on which chain. Maybe it will be Arbitrum or maybe like some else chain. We're going to see how it goes. Yeah, and we're gonna breach our this first collection from Solana to this final EVM chain. But yeah, let's see. So as it's like so lazy, the name from the very beginning, and the laziest creatures are like slots. So it was like an idea, it's lazy and slots. Yeah.
Okay, no, the lazy leading into sloths makes a lot of sense. I kind of get that as it's going through. You might have touched it already, but just being from a few of the bits you said already, and to do with being a simulation, is it fully on chain as a game?
Sorry, I have some internet glitches. Could you please repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, just you were saying you're on testnet right now. And does that mean that it's a fully on-chain game? So all interactions in terms of the simulation of the pool manager are sent to a check?
Yeah, sure. We're on chain, and we have also like our in-game marketplace actually, and it's gonna be one of the source of the game income, because we're supposed that players will sell not only NFTs in our marketplaces but also players which are not NFTs actually, and all these breedings and upgrading of rarity happens in the game. Yeah. And there's on-chain operations actually.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, that makes sense as well. And then in terms of football management simulations, we know there's quite a few kind of big hitters out there already. But what do you think it will be that kind of sets you guys apart and brings most of your audience in?
Have I got your question right? You mean what sets us apart from other competitors on the market, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, obviously that we won't compete from the very beginning with such Web2 giants as Top 11, for example. But so we're going to stick at first on our Web3 audience and like polish everything, all mechanics. And the funny thing that actually they're not like really good soccer managers at the moment in Web3. So there's still like space in the niche that we can capture. And it's great. There are some games, but they, for example, have like very difficult starting process. For example, I won't name it, but you can't start playing the game without having assets of this game. So it's like a great hindrance for gamers, because if you want to try it, you have to spend money. But no, it doesn't work this way. And we really like make something interesting and looking nice. So I'm sure we'll be able to create not to create, but to attract our audience.
No, that sounds interesting. I do have someone requesting to speak, so I'll let them up. Maybe they've got a question for you. So I've just accepted them out. While we wait to see if they kind of come up, I'll just check see if we've got anything else in the comments for you. And what are you excited for in the next 3 to 6 months for the project?
Well, the most exciting thing for sure will be release of our beta, because I'm I've been talking about it. I think for the last 3 months. So we're like working hard, but every time there's something that postpone the release, and it'll be a really big thing to have it released at last. And as soon as it's released, we're gonna have tournaments between gaming communities and content creators, and I think it's gonna be a blast. And yeah, actually, of course, we're gonna improve our match simulation. Currently, it's in 2D, and we want to have it 3D, but it's gonna take, I think, even more time than half of a year. I mean, more than 3 months, and it will be like half a year or even more. So, and yeah, actually, I'm waiting for lots of marketing activities because currently the market is dead, and we don't have our public beta. And as soon as at least we have public beta, even if the market is dead, we're gonna launch lots of tournaments and some sort of competitions. Yeah, by the way, we have like preliminary agreements with soccer players and sportcasters, and they have like YouTube channels, and we want to like start attracting attention among Web2 fans. So we're gonna have like some competitions, like I don't know, in TikTok, like to create some funny viral videos and so on and so on. So there's lots of plans. So then the main thing currently is to launch our beta, and hopefully the market won't be so bad.
Yeah, I get that. And we do have our requester is now up, so I'm going to butcher the name, but Kayunde, do you have a question for Lazy Soccer? You've come off mute, but I can't hear you. I don't know if anyone else can hear them.
No, I can hear him.
Okay, looks like we're facing some technical difficulties in terms of that. Then, if it's not able to work, if you want to write your question as a comment, I can always read it out. It doesn't look like we're actually getting sound through from you. But thanks for coming up for your question. Hopefully, we'll be able to sort it out in the comments. And in terms of keeping up to date with Lazy Soccer, where is the best place for people to follow you guys?
Well, actually, the funny thing that we have our main community on Telegram. And we have like 80K followers on Telegram. As our founders, it always like crypto influencer. Yeah, so we have lots massive community there. But I think the best way currently is like Discord, of course, and Twitter. By the way, we're also running Twitter Spaces, gaming Twitter Spaces weekly, and we're always glad to collaborate with new projects. So feel free to DM us and let's do something interesting together.
Yeah, I've seen some of those spaces, and I know one of the guys who kind of is involved in your spaces. I also do some of the bits with him on the Paladin spaces, one of the DAOs that I'm involved with as well. So definitely, if anyone is looking for more spaces, keep an eye out on Lazy Soccer. We do have another requested to speak. Hopefully this one will work. We'll get a question. If not, hopefully they write in the comments. So just give them a little bit of time for Twitter to catch up. Sinya, do you have a question for Lazy Soccer?
Bro, what the fuck is happening, man? What's up, guys? Sorry, man. I don't have any question. I might just put the request question without even notice. My bad, bro.
All right. No worries. Thanks for joining us up anyway. But anyhow, that is probably all we've got in terms of my questions. You've answered them very well, and definitely for anyone looking for some football action, make sure to keep an eye out on Lazy Soccer. Again, I'll be adding you to the list of people who have to keep up to date with you as the project. The space is always open for projects we've had up previously to come back and tell us about updates when they have something exciting, as well as any tournaments or anything like that. I just want to thank both our projects that came up and our third project that unfortunately had to disappear because of childcare. That it really means a lot that you guys are so busy, but you've taken the time to come and talk to us for an hour. It is really appreciated. And same for all the listeners, the people listening live and the people listening to the recording. There are so many pulls on your attention these days that the fact you come and listen to us for an hour, heard about 2 new exciting projects, and hopefully come back next time for some more projects, it really means a lot. Next week is going to be my first ever sponsored space. So I do have a sponsor for the next space. So we'll see how that goes. It is also the first week that I'll be introducing POAPs for all of my content. There'll be a POAP for coming to listen to the Twitter space. There'll be a POAP for being in the Discord. There'll be a POAP for 2 other things, which I can't remember off the top of my head, are for the stream and for the Spotify. And these will be what I'll be using going forward for any giveaways. If it's anything from games I've partnered with, maybe just games I like and I bought some assets with to give away, or maybe I've just had a very successful month in terms of convincing games that they should give me money. And I will be giving that out to some of the people holding the PUBs as well. So the more PUBs you have, the more likely you are to win any of those giveaways that I'll be doing. So keep an eye out for more details, but next week will be released the first POAPs. So thanks again to everyone for coming up. Thanks to everyone in the audience, and thanks for everyone listening. I am hopefully catching up with my YouTube videos, and this one should be up in the next couple of days. And I'll catch everyone in a bit. And remember to look for games that you enjoy, and I'll see you all later.